Now, before you begin to drift into a deep state of relaxation and inner focus, I'm just going to say a few words about creating your own reality. One of the most fundamental questions that each of us has to answer is, how much control do I have over my life? There are some people who live their lives as if they have no control whatsoever over what happens to them. They blame everything that happens to them on someone else, and they never take any steps to actively change their life for the better. At the opposite extreme, certain forms of mental illness can cause a person to believe that they are in control of everything, that they can make traffic lights change and control the weather with the power of their mind. Clearly, neither of these extremes is a helpful attitude to have about life. As a human being, you aren't in control of everything that happens, but you always have some degree of influence over your life. For example, the psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, author of the book Man's Search for Meaning, was a prisoner in the German concentration camps during the Second World War. He noticed that, among his fellow prisoners, those who tended to survive were the ones who were able to find some meaning, some purpose, some reason to live, even in that terrible situation. Those who could not see any hope in their situation, or any reason to live, even if they were physically healthy, were the ones who tended not to make it. Frankl himself made it his aim to survive that experience so that he could tell his story to the world, and he spent the rest of his career helping his patients find meaning in their own lives. When you find meaning and purpose in what you do, it can change your whole experience of life, no matter what your circumstances. What you habitually choose to focus on in life also creates your reality. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people." Now, this doesn't mean that the most important thing in life is to talk about intellectual ideas in a Parisian cafe. We could also say that great minds create art, music, novels, new businesses, new inventions, so that they fight for justice, equality, and to help those in need. But it's certainly true that some people spend a huge portion of their time gossiping, reading about the lives of celebrities, or spending endless hours on social media websites seeing what their friends had for breakfast. And this certainly isn't the greatest possible use of your mind. So be careful what you choose to habitually focus on, otherwise you might create a reality that feels like a never-ending TV soap opera. Even tiny adjustments to your environment can measurably change your experience. In one experiment, it was found that when two groups of people were asked to generate ideas, the group assigned to the room with the green plant pot in the corner produced a much larger number of creative ideas than the group assigned to an identical room with no pot plant. The environment you create around you has a strong influence on your experience of reality. The music you regularly listen to, the TV shows you watch, the websites, books, and newspapers you read, the people you habitually spend time with, all of these things form the background to your life, and they all have an effect on your experience. So the meaning you make out of life, the things you choose to focus on, and the environment you create around you, all contribute to your current reality. And you can create a much more purposeful, meaningful, joyful life for yourself by actively choosing how you're going to create your reality from now onwards. And that's exactly what this session is going to help you do. So now, as you listen to these words, and breathe comfortably and smoothly, you can just allow those eyes to close, if you haven't yet. And if they're already closed, just imagine them slowly closing again, as you notice the sensation of whatever you're resting on, and you become aware of the temperature of the air against that face, the way the shoulders rise and fall, just a little, with each breath. And there are certain physical realities to your body. The number of fingers you have, the number of toes you have, and just like reality itself, you aren't in complete control over every aspect of that body. If you graze your elbow, that elbow heals all by itself. And that doesn't require you to control anything. It just happens, all by itself. Just as that heart beats all by itself, just as the digestion of the food you've eaten happens all by itself. And there's no need to consciously control all these things, because there's much more to you than your conscious mind. When you dream at night, you don't need to consciously plan each dream. Your creative, dreaming mind dreams dreams that are just right for you, to learn, to integrate the learnings of the day. And some people try to keep themselves tightly under control, like a clenched fist, tightly squeezed. And you, right now, could get a sense of what that's really like by squeezing both those hands into fists. Now. That's it. Really squeeze those fingers tightly into the palms and get a sense of trying hard to control everything that happens to you. Squeeze the fists and imagine trying to control everything and everyone. And then squeeze those fists a little tighter still. Take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment. And then breathe out and relax the hands, the body, the mind. Just let go completely and realize that the way to influence the world around you, the way to create a better life for yourself, a more fulfilling, meaningful, joyful experience of being alive, isn't through trying to control everything, nor is it through passively surrendering to life. It's through calmly, persistently influencing the things that you can influence in very positive ways. Sometimes just by making little changes in how you think, how you behave, but bit by bit, cumulatively grow into a whole new experience of reality. And here and now, you might notice that you're already feeling more relaxed than you were a few moments ago. And you can focus on where feels most relaxed in that body. Which hand feels the most relaxed right now? Which foot feels the most relaxed? And what would it be like to let the facial muscles soften more? To let the shoulders loosen. That's it. And you can just get the sense that a relaxing, soothing piece of music is playing now. Perhaps a song or a piece that you love to unwind to. And you can hear it now in your dreaming mind, hearing the notes, the rhythm, the melody. Perhaps hearing it playing far away in the distance, and then allowing those sounds to come closer, to become richer, feeling the physical beat of the percussion or the bass notes flowing through you and around you, noticing those fingers and those toes, perhaps even wanting to dance to the tune. Maybe that head is wanting to sway back and forth in time to the music, as a faint smile begins to form at the corner of the eyes and the corners of the mouth. That's it. That's right. Creating a new experience of reality for yourself. As you relax twice as deeply now, the very air around that body becoming imbued with calm, peace, ease and rest, fully beginning now to dream a dream that rises on the wings of hope. And what must it be like to see through the eyes of an eagle, to glide way up high above the hills, above the rivers, even above the clouds, to feel the sun warming those wings, the air rushing through those feathers, hearing the silence and the wind, the stillness, the clarity, calmly watching the world down there, calmly watching the you way down there, who's listening and relaxing to these words now. And you know, deep down, the things that are really important to you in life. And you know how it feels to do the right thing, to live in a way that gives you the right to be proud, the right to hold your head up high. And there are times in your life, are there not, when you've experienced a deep sense of accomplishment, of having done something fulfilling. Maybe it was a piece of creative, challenging work, or a time you really helped someone out and added some happiness and goodness to the world. Maybe there are times that a book or a movie or a piece of music or art really touched something deep inside you. It called to you, moved you, awakened you. And all of these times are signs, pointers, hints from your deeper self about the direction to be moving towards in your future. Because all the wealth in the world doesn't add up to much at all if you don't have meaning, if you don't feel engaged and fulfilled by what you do, by how you meaningfully connect with other people, by how you challenge yourself and learn and grow, so that even if you're just waiting in an airport for a flight, even if you're standing in line at the supermarket, even in the most everyday of situations, there's a deeper background sense of purpose and meaning in who you are, in the direction you're moving in, as you really appreciate and take in all the different meanings of your life now and on into the future. Taking in and appreciating all that gives you meaning, all that has given you genuine fulfillment, times of beauty, times of focused, hard, satisfying work, times of energy and purpose, times of laughter, perhaps laughing and laughing with someone till tears flowed and your sides hurt, times of deep connection, times when you made someone's day and your deep inner mind can magnify these experiences, making them more vivid, more three-dimensional, as you hear the sounds, the words, feel the sensations of meaning, fulfillment, joy and purpose, getting stronger and deepening within you now, twice as much again. That's it. Opening to this deep connection with your core values, with all that truly moves you and fulfills you, immersing yourself deeper and deeper, effortlessly supported by a profound sense of stability, a core foundation of strength, of purpose, of living a meaningful, fulfilling life where you create and connect and challenge yourself and make a difference so that you can look back at the end of your life and feel truly satisfied that you used the time you had well, that you lived well. And here and now, from a bird's eye view, you can begin to soar out over the future and look down there far below and notice a future you who's strolling through life with a new soundtrack playing around them, like they're living in a different kind of movie, different music, different camera angles, a whole different atmosphere to this future life. And this you has a warmer, stronger, and more optimistic inner voice in their mind. You can really see that spring in your step, a future you who has made changes big and small. Perhaps you'll have changed the pictures on your wall. Perhaps you'll have changed the music you play, the websites you look at, or the TV shows you watch. Perhaps regularly visiting places that are beautiful, or spending more time with certain people and less time with others. Because creating a new reality for yourself is ultimately a question of what are you including in your reality and what are you excluding. And you can notice this future you focuses on different things as you take in what's good from each day. Live more purposefully and feel drawn to doing meaningful, challenging, life-enriching things. And then just notice this future you doing something now in this new reality that can really surprise you in a very positive way. And you can merge right into this future you and experience this from the inside. Right now, hearing a different soundtrack to your life, a warmer, more encouraging inner voice, a smile at the corners of your eyes and the corners of your mouth, feeling calmly focused, purposeful, noticing how you pay attention to what's good and fulfilling from each day. That's it. Living a life of meaning and accomplishing things that are really worthwhile. And you know, do you not, what the next step is for you? Thinking back from this future time, back to now, where it all begins from. Because this process has already been set in motion. And it's time to create this reality by taking action now in your life. And maybe that's going to be a small change. Maybe it's going to be a big one. As you notice the next step for you in creating the life you're now ready to live, fully, honestly, and deeply now. And you can listen to this session often and commit even more deeply to creating a reality that's truly right for you each time that you do. And for now, you can begin to return to the here and now, feeling alert and refreshed, with a real sense of good feeling, just noticing the position of your body and the sensation of whatever it is you're resting on there. Perhaps becoming more aware of any sounds around, and coming all the way back now. And then whenever you're ready, you can just have a nice stretch and open your eyes. Good.